Hello everybody, my name is Jose Aleman, and what I'm going to talk today about is the federal criminal court system. And the reason I want everybody to be familiar with the federal court system is because anybody can be arrested, anybody can be accused of a crime, and you need to know exactly what you need to do, what your rights are, and then the whole process of the federal court system. All right, so you might say, I'm a good citizen, I'm never gonna be experiencing the court system. You never know. You need to be prepared what you're entitled to, what your rights are. So if anybody's accused of a crime, whether it's by local, state, or federal police, the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna read you your rights. That's when you know you're gonna be under arrest. And your rights are, you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. Anything you say will be used against you. And then they're gonna see if you wanna give a statement. It is to your advantage to remain silent because one of your rights is you can remain silent, and anything you say, they're gonna be using it against you. So it's to your advantage to request an attorney. All right, so here we go. The federal criminal court system. Once you've been accused of a crime, they read you your rights. They'll take you to jail, and then the first thing that I want to emphasize is there's three different systems in the court system. Three different court systems: the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and the district courts. There are 94 district courts, and that's the level that I'm going to be talking about, the district courts. There's 94 judicial district, 94 judicial districts and 50 states. The state of New Mexico falls under the Southern District of New Mexico. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the district courts. Before I get started, I have to reference how I got this information and also my experience, but I got this information from www.justice.gov. That's one. National Archives and Records Administration. That's two. And then uscourts.gov. So those are the three references. All right. I'm going to go through the five major federal court hearings. Number one, initial presentment. Number two, preliminary hearing. Number three, detention hearing. Number four, plea bargaining hearing. And number five, sentencing hearing. So five: initial presentment, preliminary hearing, detention hearing, plea bargain hearing, and sentencing hearing. These are the basic hearings. There's a lot of hearings, depends how the case goes, but these are the major ones. One thing I like to notice and to point out that there is trial goes between the plea bargain and sentencing. It just depends how the defendant is gonna plead. All right, initial presentment. So they take you to jail. The next thing you do is you go see a magistrate or a district judge. What does he do? He's gonna advise you on that first initial presentment hearing of your accusation, the charges, and then read you again your magistrate rights. You have the right to an attorney. If you don't have an attorney, one will be appointed to you. And then at that point, in that hearing, you'll get an attorney. So that's what happens basically on the initial presentment hearing. There's no discussion, there's no nothing. The judge will just tell you basically the accusation and your rights one more time, and at that point, he'll appoint an attorney. All right. Second hearing, the preliminary hearing. During this hearing, okay, the government has to prove that two things. One, that there was a crime committed, and second, that you are the person that committed that crime. So those two elements, okay? And that's what they call probable cause. So the government brings the accusation. They have to prove that a crime was committed, and second, that there is probable cause. In other words, there's reason to believe that that defendant or you or whoever was accused or brought before the judge committed that crime. They have they have reasons to do that. All right, number 3, detention hearing. Okay, during this hearing, the judge will determine 2 things. One thing, whether you are eligible to be released, and then you're gonna come back for every hearing from home, or they can monitor your liberty with particular terms. But in order for you to be released, you have to prove that you're not a flight risk. If you're a foreign, if you're born somewhere else, you don't have ties in the community, that's a factor. And 2, that you're not you don't present a danger to society. So those 2 things. If you are okay with those 2, you're not a flight risk, or you don't present a danger to society, then you can be released. Number 4 is the plea bargain, which is basically a hearing where the judge wants to see, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty. If you plead guilty, then it'll automatically go to the sentencing hearing, which is the last hearing. But if you plead not guilty, then other options can be made. For example, you can arrange for a change of plea hearing later on, or you can negotiate your sentencing. When you plead not guilty, you have the chance to later on talk to the prosecutor, talk to the defense attorney, and see if you can come up with an agreement for a sentencing. So during this hearing is the plea bargaining hearing, where you plead either guilty or not guilty. Okay, the last one is the sentencing hearing. And the sentencing hearing is basically where the judge already review all the case, and then he's gonna give you the sentence, whether it's time served, whether it's 1 year in jail, 1 year in prison, 3 years probation, etc. The sentencing hearing is the last hearing. So I think my time is up. I think I went a little bit over, but those are the 5 major hearings of the federal criminal court system. I wish I had more time. I can go into more detail, but those are it. If you have any questions, see me, ask me. I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.